Welcome back to K&L Farms. I'm Ken. I hope this video finds you well. Last time I themed this Jeep, or this is the primary vehicle that we use for winter. And on my channel, several times I've put winter. I don't know if I've ever put an image up for what winter actually looks like, and I'll try and put a couple images up right now. Okay, should be back. And last time I themed this, I was doing front brake rotors on this Jeep, and I'm trying to get this ready for the winter, which you've seen what winter's going to look like here shortly. And it wasn't the brake pads I did or was concerned about, it was the brake rotors. And I'm going to bring a rotor up close to the camera so you can actually see it. Okay, this is the rotor I took off. Now, the pads weren't bad, and well, I'm probably 1/8 of an inch down, but see that corrosion on that rotor? And I'm still puzzled, and maybe you can help me with. That looks like salt water. That looks like saltwater damage on that rotor, and I still haven't figured out what that is. Because I don't know that this Jeep, since we've owned it, has ever been in salt water. But heat, quite a bit of heat in it, and quite a bit of corrosion. So I'll set this rotor down, and then I'll go on to the next subject matter. Okay, so remember that we're driving this vehicle. This vehicle is for snow. Jeep Cherokee, it's trail rated. It's a trail hawk. Does excellent. We think it does excellent. We have heavy snow. We got to go get something from town. This is the vehicle that we take. But I'm on the driver's side. I do the driving in heavy snow. And that's just the way it's been as long as I've been alive, as long as I've been married, I guess. And I've been married 44 years. So I'm doing the driving. My wife's on the passenger side. My wife a couple years ago, probably a year ago, she starts squawking, "It's cold on my side." And I kind of ruled that out, okay, it's cold on your side. Because on my side, the driver's side, she's on the passenger side, driver's side, I'm cozy. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, because I'm having a good day over there, trying to get from point A to point B with 2 feet, 4 feet of snow, and she said it's cold. Well, this is last winter. Last winter she actually brought a blanket. She had a blanket, and she's covered up with a blanket on her side, and she's still saying, "Hey, it's cold. I'm cold on my side." And I was like, oh yeah, I kind of ruled it out a little bit. But so let's jump to this year. This year she comes to, hey, this passenger side is cold from previous, and this coming year is, hey, you can't run the heater. I'm like, what? Yeah, my side's cold. You haven't looked at it yet. You can't run the heater on your side. And I'm like, uh-oh. Now it's time actually to figure out what's going on, because it wasn't a case of, at this point, just it could be a little bit cold. It's serious, because it's going to affect me. So I go to start looking on this Jeep on what actually happened, because now I know it's cold on her side. It's seriously cold. So I pulled a cabin air filter out of this Jeep, because the cabin air filter, remember, I'm trying to rationalize why her side is so cold. Cabin air filter is totally plugged, and I'd go with, I don't know, 70-80% plugged. when I pulled that out. But the other thing I found when I pulled that out is this is the cover for the cabin air filter, and by the looks of it, it used to hinge. There'd be a pivot point here, unclip on the bottom, pivot up, pull the cabin air out, put the cabin air filter back in. Now since I've never changed this one, and you can see on the hood, see how contaminated that is? Because I didn't know that cabin air filters were that critical, because when I started driving, yeah, when we were married earlier, cabin air filters weren't a thing. Well, and I think coming up for the repair, cabin air filter is not going to be a thing here shortly. But what I found is this is broke. This had broke. It was still connected at the bottom. Remember, there's a box this fits in, and when I went to researching it, or pulled the panel away to try and find the cabin air filter, this had opened up. Box, cabin air filter used to hinge like this. Cabin air filter got plugged enough that air needed to flow, and air was flowing, and it actually broke. The weak point on this was it actually blew this apart. So there's an inch, when I found it, an inch or better. And what was happening was, and I'm going to fix that at a later date, but what was happening was air was coming in. So outside air comes into the cabin through the cabin air filter, goes into and gets climatized through a heater. She kept saying, there's cold air on my side. Well, the cold air was, this was broke. It was open up, an inch or so. And so external air was coming through and going right to her side, passenger side. And so I'm going to fix this at some point, but I'm not taking the whole canister out. I'm not tearing the whole dash apart. Some way I'm going to farm this together so I get that closed up. But she was right. She had spent a year on this side on the passenger side, and I didn't realize it was that condition, and I thought she was kind of over dramatizing the situation. She was not. And once she went to, well, we're going to shut the heater off, that was like, well, I got to do something about this. But anyway, so let me work on that a little bit.